22 brilliant garden ideas to transform your home with upcycled magic. Indoor and outdoor DIY inspiration. Hello, dear friends of Earthly Delights. Welcome back. Or if this is your first time here, I'm truly glad you found your way to this little green corner of the internet. If you've ever looked at a pile of old junk and thought, could this become something beautiful? Then you're in exactly the right place. Because today's video isn't just about gardening. It's about transformation. About taking what's forgotten, dusty, or discarded and turning it into something that brings joy, color, and life back into your home or garden. I know many of you watching are passionate plant lovers, but not all of us have big backyards or fancy tools. Some of us are working with tiny balconies, tight budgets, or city apartments. Some are just starting their plant journey, and others are deep in the soil of healing, using plants to calm the noise, reconnect with purpose, or simply feel proud of creating something living. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through 22 creative, soul-soothing, and surprisingly easy garden DIYs using upcycled treasures and everyday items. You'll never look at your old ladder or teacup the same way again. If that sounds like your kind of magic, make sure to subscribe to Earthly Delights so you never miss a moment of green inspiration. Part 1. From Junk to Joy, Repurposing with Purpose. Let's start where many beautiful things begin, in the overlooked, the forgotten, the dusty corner of your shed or storage room. Because sometimes, the magic isn't in buying something new, it's in seeing the hidden potential of what's already yours. So grab that old ladder, those cracked bricks, or that rusty watering can. We're about to turn them into green gold. 1.1. Rustic Brick Pathways Reimagined. Imagine this, a narrow walkway made not from fancy store-bought tiles, but from reclaimed bricks you thought had no use left. Each brick, slightly uneven, tells its own story. Some chipped, some moss-kissed, all perfectly imperfect. Now picture those bricks leading through your little garden corner, maybe past your favorite potted herbs, or under the dappled shade of a balcony trellis. This isn't just a path, it's a gentle invitation to slow down. For those of you with small yards, balconies, or even indoor plant zones, you can recreate this on a miniature scale. Line bricks between raised beds or along a window planter ledge to give your space structure and charm. Add a touch of moss or ground cover between them, and you've got a rustic, soulful walkway that feels more like a memory than a project. It's proof that even old, discarded materials can guide us somewhere beautiful. 1.2. The Ladder to Heaven. Tucked away in your garage or leaning forgotten behind the house, that old wooden ladder has more to offer than you think. With just a little love, it can literally into a stunning vertical garden. This idea is perfect for those of you with limited floor space, whether you're living in a city apartment, a cozy townhouse, or just looking to add more plants without sacrificing room to walk. Prop the ladder against a sunny wall or secure it on a small balcony. Each rung becomes a shelf, a stage for trailing vines, cheerful herbs, or colorful potted flowers. If you're feeling artistic, give the ladder a coat of paint to match your garden's vibe, soft pastels for a cottage feel, or charcoal black for modern contrast. The beauty here isn't just in the plants, it's in how something so ordinary becomes the centerpiece of your garden story. It's a gentle reminder, growth doesn't always need ground. Sometimes all it needs is a little lift. 1.3. The Watering Can Waterfall. You know that old metal watering can with the dented spout and rust along the handle? Don't toss it, hang it, because when suspended just right, it becomes something truly enchanting, a blooming waterfall in midair. Here's how. Hang the watering can from a sturdy hook on your fence, balcony railing, or even a tree branch. Then plant a trailing flower, like petunias, lobelia, or creeping jenny, right inside. As the plants grow, they spill out like flowing water, cascading in color and life. It's a perfect blend of whimsy and wonder. And for many plant lovers watching right now, especially those who see gardening as more than a hobby but a form of self-expression, this idea lets you tell a visual story. A story where tools of work become symbols of beauty. A story where even the oldest item still pours out new life. 1.4. The Mobile Bloom Cart. Picture this, an old, rusted wheelbarrow, its days of hauling soil long behind it, reborn as the heart of your garden. Now overflowing with vibrant summer blooms, herbs, or even trailing ivy, it becomes a charming, mobile planter that brings movement and personality to your space. This idea is especially powerful for those of you who love flexibility in your garden layout. Maybe you live somewhere with shifting sunlight, or perhaps you like to change things up with the seasons. With a mobile bloom cart, you're free to roll your floral masterpiece into the sun, onto the porch, or even into the spotlight of a weekend garden party. Add layers of color, mix textures, and let the rust and patina of the old wheelbarrow add character. What was once a tool of labor becomes a symbol of rest and creativity, proof that even the most worn-out things can grow into something extraordinary. 1.5. Painted Tire Paradise. You've probably seen them before. Old tires piled behind garages or left out on curbs. But what if those tired tires could bloom into something bold and beautiful? With just a splash of paint and a little imagination, they can become vibrant planters that instantly uplift any dull garden corner. Start by choosing a few old tires, different sizes if you can find them. Clean them up, then give them a coat of bright, cheerful paint. Think sunflower yellow, mint green, or deep sky blue. Stack them or lay them flat, fill them with rich soil, and plant wildflowers, succulents, or herbs depending on your vibe. This idea is perfect for those of you working with limited space. Think front porches, alleyway nooks, or tiny side yards. It adds height, color, and playfulness without requiring much room. And most of all, it transforms waste into wonder. You don't need to throw it away. You just need to grow something new inside it. Part 2. Elevating the everyday. DIY pieces with heart. Not every masterpiece starts with a grand plan. Sometimes it begins with a single object and a little spark of inspiration. In this part, we'll breathe new life into everyday items you might already have in your kitchen, attic, or thrift store haul. Get ready to turn the ordinary into soulful centerpieces of your green sanctuary. 2.1. Pallet Lounge for the Patio Soul. There's something magical about carving out a little corner of peace just for yourself, and it doesn't have to cost a thing. With a few weathered wooden pallets, you can create a cozy, rustic garden lounge that feels like your own secret retreat. Stack 2 or 3 pallets as a base, add a backrest if you'd like, then layer on soft cushions or even old blankets. Place it under a tree, beside a balcony wall, or in your plant-filled nook. Add a small side table made from crates or stumps, and suddenly you've built more than just a seat. You've built a moment. For those of you watching who crave a sanctuary after long days, or need a place to sip tea surrounded by leaves and light, this is your calling. Your garden isn't just for planting, it's for pausing too. A pallet lounge invites you to slow down, breathe deep, and let the green around you do its quiet healing work. 2.2. Vintage Birdcage Eden. Tucked away in many thrift stores, or maybe in your grandmother's attic, sits an old birdcage, its door long unused. But for the creative gardener, it's not just a relic, it's a stage waiting for life. When filled with trailing greenery like string of pearls, ivy, or ferns, this birdcage becomes a whimsical hanging planter straight from a fairy tale. Hang it from a tree branch, a ceiling hook, or even in a bright corner of your living room. The open frame allows light and air to dance around the plants, creating a dreamy play of shadows and movement. It's a perfect choice for indoor gardeners looking to bring a touch of storybook magic into their space. For those of you who believe your plants deserve more than just pots, this is your chance to build them a home with character. A Birdcage Eden reminds us, nature doesn't need to be tamed, it just needs a little space to twirl. 2.3. Colander blooms in the kitchen window. That old metal colander sitting at the back of your kitchen cabinet? It's more than just a pasta strainer. It's a ready-made hanging planter with built-in drainage, perfect for summer blooms and trailing greens. And the best part? It adds a playful, unexpected charm to your garden or indoor plant space. Give the colander a fresh coat of paint, bright red, soft teal, or even a clean white, and line it with a bit of coconut coir or burlap to hold the soil. Then, fill it with colorful petunias, geraniums, or herbs like mint and basil. Hang it from a balcony railing, tree branch, or directly in front of your kitchen window. This idea is perfect for those of you who want something cheerful and space-saving, especially if you're gardening in apartments or small patios. It turns a daily kitchen tool into a blooming reminder that creativity can and should live in the everyday. Sometimes, the best planters aren't bought, they're borrowed from your own cupboards. 2.4. Teacup terrariums of memory. Some treasures are too small to shout but too special to ignore, like that lone teacup left behind from a mismatched set, or a delicate saucer that holds more stories than sugar. Instead of letting them collect dust, why not turn them into miniature living worlds? Teacup terrariums are perfect for tiny ferns, moss, succulents, or even a tiny figurine if you're feeling playful. All you need is a scoop of soil, a sprinkle of pebbles for drainage, and a little imagination. Place them on a windowsill, a bedside table, or hidden among your larger plants like secret discoveries waiting to be found. For those of you who garden not just with your hands but with your heart, this idea is a gentle reminder. Beauty doesn't need to be big to be powerful. Every cup can hold a memory, a story, or a quiet moment of wonder. And in a world that moves too fast, these tiny living scenes invite us to slow down and look closer. 2.5. Mirror magic in the garden. Nook mirrors don't just belong inside. When placed thoughtfully in your garden, or even along a balcony wall, they become windows into a greener, brighter world. A vintage mirror with a weathered frame, or even several small thrifted ones grouped together, can completely transform how your space feels. For those of you with compact garden corners or shaded balconies, mirrors reflect both light and greenery, instantly making everything appear larger and more alive. Hang one behind a cluster of potted plants or beside a vertical garden wall, and watch the reflections double the beauty. This idea is especially meaningful for those who see gardening as a reflection of themselves, constantly growing, adapting, reaching for light. The mirror isn't just decoration. It's a quiet reminder that beauty surrounds you, and sometimes it's closer than it seems. In every reflection, your garden becomes a little more magical. Part 3. Structure and sanctuary, building atmosphere. Every garden, no matter how small, needs a heartbeat, a structure that grounds the space and gives it rhythm. In this part, we'll explore simple, soulful builds that bring form, function, and serenity to your garden sanctuary. Whether it's a repurposed shelf or a calming water feature, each idea invites you to stay a little longer. 3.1. Mini shed from pallets, the plant tool nook. You don't need a full backyard to have a garden shed. With a few reclaimed pallets and a touch of creativity, you can build a charming mini tool nook that fits right on your balcony, porch, or indoor sunroom. It's compact, rustic, and packed with personality. Arrange the pallets vertically and add simple shelving or hooks to hold small tools, gloves, watering cans, and seed packets. You can even hang potted herbs or succulents along the sides to blend function with beauty. Top it off with a slanted roof or a piece of thatch for flair, and suddenly you've got more than storage. You've got a focal point. This idea is perfect for those of you who love to keep things organized, but want your space to feel warm and intentional, not just practical. It's a reminder that structure can be soulful too. Your garden doesn't just grow plants. It holds tools, memories, and moments of peace. Let this little nook reflect all of that. 3.2. Waterfall of calm, the backyard soundscape. There's something undeniably soothing about the sound of water. It slows the mind, softens the air, and invites peace into any space. And the best part? You don't need a grand pond or a fancy pump system to experience it. With a few salvaged stones and a recycled basin or planter, you can create a gentle backyard waterfall, or even a compact indoor fountain. Stack the stones in a natural, imperfect arrangement. Let water trickle slowly, like a soft whisper through your garden. Surround it with leafy greens, flowering pots, or even candles for evening glow. Place it in a quiet corner where you can sit and breathe. For those of you watching who use your garden as therapy, as a place to heal, reflect, or just escape the digital noise, this is your sacred sound. It doesn't just fill the space, it fills you. Every drip and splash is a reminder. Peace isn't found, it's created. And sometimes, it flows from the simplest things. 3.3. Upside-down glass bottle borders. It's amazing how something as simple as an empty glass bottle can become a striking feature in your garden. Instead of tossing them out, try this. Flip them upside down and line them along the edges of your planting beds, walkways, or even balcony planters. Clear, colored, mismatched, it doesn't matter. Together they create a mosaic of light and texture that shifts with the sun. This is a brilliant way to add personality to your garden without spending a dime. For those of you who love eco-friendly solutions and appreciate the beauty in what others might throw away, this border idea is a gentle rebellion against waste and a celebration of creativity. It's not just decoration, it's intention. Every bottle tells a story, every curve catches the light, and every step past it reminds you, beauty isn't always about symmetry or perfection. Sometimes, it's just about seeing value in what's already there and turning the ordinary into something unforgettable. 3.4. Lanterns by day, glow by night. Lanterns have a way of making any space feel a little more magical, but when you fill them with small potted plants instead of candles, they become living ornaments that change with the light. During the day, succulents or tiny ferns bask behind the glass, turning your garden into a miniature greenhouse gallery. And at night, soft fairy lights or tea candles can bring them to life in a whole new way. Hang them from a pergola, place them along garden steps, or cluster a few on a patio table for a cozy evening vibe. This idea is especially perfect for those of you who enjoy both daytime plant care and peaceful nighttime ambiance, blending two worlds into one. It's also a great solution for those with limited space or no soil at all. Whether you live in an apartment, a townhouse, or just want to elevate your balcony garden, these glowing little havens bring warmth, light, and a touch of wonder to your plant-filled life. 3.5. DIY woodland fence, a natural backdrop. There's something timeless about a fence made from branches, each one slightly bent, rough around the edges, yet full of character. A DIY woodland fence doesn't just mark space, it tells a story. And it's surprisingly easy to create using fallen branches, driftwood, or any weathered scraps you might have tucked away. Arrange the branches vertically or in a crisscross pattern, securing them with wire or nails along a simple frame. Use it as a border for a small garden bed, a backdrop for climbing plants, or even a privacy screen for a balcony corner. It blends effortlessly with greenery, creating a wild, untamed charm that feels like a slice of forest, right at home. For those of you who want your plant sanctuary to feel less manicured and more magical, this fence invites birds, butterflies, and even curious neighbors to stop and look. It's low cost, low maintenance, and high on soul, because sometimes the best way to build a boundary is with nature itself. Part 4. Playful and practical touches. Now that your garden has form and flow, it's time to add personality, those playful details that spark conversation and make the space truly yours. In this part, we'll explore creative, useful, and often surprising ways to repurpose household items into garden gems. These are the touches that turn a garden into a story. 4.1. Old door, new purpose. The indoor plant station, that forgotten wooden door leaning in your garage? It's not just a relic, it's the perfect canvas for your next indoor or patio garden project. With a bit of sanding, sealing, and imagination, you can transform it into a vertical plant station, repotting table, or even a charming propagation bar. Mount small shelves or crates directly onto the panels. Add hooks for tools, string lights for ambiance, or mini chalkboards to label your cuttings. Lean it against a wall in your sunroom, balcony, or kitchen nook. And suddenly, it's no longer just a door. It's a portal into your plant world. For those of you who love combining function with aesthetics and want a dedicated space to care for your green friends, this project is both practical and poetic. It's proof that gardening isn't confined to the ground. It can grow up, lean in, and stand tall with a second life and a story to tell. 4.2. Log stools, rustic plant thrones. Nature already gives us some of the most beautiful furniture. No factory required. A simple log, carefully cut and smoothed, can become a sturdy stool, a charming plant stand, or even a whimsical garden seat. With their bark still on or sanded smooth, log stools add texture and warmth to any indoor or outdoor space. Scatter them throughout your garden for seating, or use them as pedestals to elevate your favorite pots. Indoors, they work beautifully in a sunlit corner, as earthy accents beneath trailing vines, or as natural side tables. You can even hollow one out slightly to cradle a small planter inside, like a tree cradling its own little forest. For those of you who crave that woodland magic, these log stools bring grounding energy to your sanctuary. They remind us that nature isn't just something we tend to, it's something we sit with, rest on, and grow beside. Simple, soulful, and beautifully strong, just like your garden. 4.3. Galvanized bucket beauty. If you've got an old galvanized bucket lying around, maybe dented, maybe a bit rusty, don't toss it. Turn it into a rustic planter that brings both charm and order to your green space. These sturdy containers are ideal for herbs, flowering plants, or even small vegetables, and they add that cozy farmhouse feel instantly. Drill a few drainage holes in the bottom, then fill with well-draining soil and your favorite plants. You can leave the bucket as is for a weathered look, or paint it with chalk-style colors for a softer, vintage vibe. Cluster a few buckets together by your entryway, on your porch steps, or along a garden path for a layered, relaxed effect. This idea is especially perfect for those of you who love things a little rough around the edges. Imperfect, but full of heart. It's practical, portable, and full of story. After all, there's beauty in things that have lived a little. Just like your garden. Just like you. 4.4 Floral Arch Reimagined Indoors. Who says a floral arch belongs only in outdoor weddings or fancy garden parties? With a little creativity, you can bring this romantic structure right into your home or onto your balcony to serve as a living frame for your favorite plants. And the best part? You can build it using simple materials like reclaimed wood, copper pipes, or even an old curtain rod. Drape it with climbing plants like pothos, jasmine, or morning glory. Add string lights for a dreamy glow, or weave in fabric for softness and color. Place it behind a reading chair, above a plant shelf, or at the entrance to your garden zone to create a visual transition that feels almost sacred. For plant lovers who see their home as an extension of the natural world, this idea adds elegance and structure without losing that wild touch. It's more than decoration. It's a doorway into your personal sanctuary, a place where plants don't just grow, they greet you with grace. 4.5 Stackable Edible Gardens. If you've ever wished for a vegetable patch but felt held back by space, let me introduce you to the magic of stackable edible gardens. With just a few crates, wooden boxes, or even repurposed bins, you can build a lush, layered garden that feeds both your body and your soul, right on your balcony, patio, or even sunny windowsill. Start with a sturdy base, then stack containers vertically with enough room for light and airflow. Fill them with lettuces, strawberries, basil, mint, or whatever greens you love most. Mix in marigolds or nasturtiums to add color and repel pests naturally. It's a perfect blend of beauty and practicality. For those of you who dream of farm-to-table freshness but live in apartments or small homes, this is your answer. You're not just growing food, you're building confidence, independence, and joy. Every harvest, no matter how small, becomes a celebration, and every leaf you grow reminds you abundance is possible, even in the smallest spaces. Part 5. Going Green with Wisdom. By now, your garden has character, creativity, and heart. But what about longevity? In this final part, we'll explore ideas rooted in mindfulness and sustainability. These are the practices that not only help your plants thrive, but also honor your time, energy, and the earth itself. Because true beauty grows with purpose. 5.1 Zero Waste Xeriscaping, Indoor Edition. You don't need a desert to practice xeriscaping. You just need a thoughtful approach. For those of you who tend to forget a watering day or two, or simply want a garden that thrives with less, this idea is your gentle rescue. With drought-tolerant indoor plants like jade, snake plant, echeveria, and haworthia, you can create a stunning, low-maintenance display that conserves water and looks like living sculpture. Use salvaged stone, sand, gravel, or even broken ceramic pieces as a textured base in trays or shallow planters. Group your succulents and air plants artfully and leave space for them to breathe and shine. Add driftwood or a decorative rock to complete the look. This is perfect for viewers who live in hot climates, juggle busy lives, or are just starting out with plants. It proves that going green doesn't have to be hard or high maintenance. With a little intention, you can build something beautiful that takes care of itself and still brings life into every corner. 5.2 The Secret Foodscape. Beauty that feeds. Why choose between a beautiful garden and a useful one, when you can have both? A foodscape blends edible plants with ornamentals, creating a lush, functional space that pleases the eye and fills your plate. And the best part? You don't need a big backyard to do it. Tuck lettuces beside your marigolds, plant basil near zinnias, or let rosemary trail from a hanging basket lined with nasturtiums. Use raised crates, woven baskets, or even upcycled drawers to layer color and texture. The result is a soft, romantic jungle of greens, golds, purples, and the sweet satisfaction of harvesting dinner right where you grow your dreams. For those of you who see your garden as a form of nourishment for the soul, the body, or both, this is your invitation to merge the two. You're not just growing food, you're designing an ecosystem. And in that system, every leaf, every bloom, every bite has a purpose. One that starts in the soil and ends with joy. 5.3 Bonus idea: the mirror table garden. Here's something truly unexpected, a way to make even the smallest space feel enchanted. Take an old mirror, preferably one with character, and lay it flat inside a wooden tray or shallow box. Line the edges with a mix of succulents, moss, sand, and tiny stones. What you'll create is a reflective tabletop garden, where light bounces upward and the plants seem to float in midair. Place it on a coffee table, windowsill, or even outside under a pergola. The mirror adds depth, while the plants bring texture and color. You can even add crystals, shells, or dried flowers to personalize it further. This idea is for those of you who love details, who find joy in the quiet magic of small things. It's also perfect for apartment dwellers or anyone wanting a garden moment in the heart of their home. Because sometimes transformation isn't loud, it's a soft shimmer in the corner of your eye, reminding you to pause, reflect, and grow. And just like that, we've journeyed through forgotten corners, cracked containers, and cast-off treasures, only to find beauty blooming in the most unexpected places. Whether you're nurturing a windowsill jungle or transforming a tiny patio into your private oasis, remember this: you don't need a big yard, a big budget, or even a green thumb. You just need heart, a little imagination, and the willingness to see potential where others see junk. Because gardening isn't about perfection, it's about presence. It's about creating a space that reflects who you are, where your plants grow alongside your dreams, your healing, your joy. Whether you tried the mirror table, built a teacup terrarium, or simply looked at your ladder a little differently today, you've already started something. If this video sparked a new idea or inspired your next garden project, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit subscribe to Earthly Delights, where we believe gardens aren't just grown, they're felt, lived, and shared. Until next time, keep creating beauty, one leaf, one bloom, one breath at a time.